This video is brought to you by AKS IAS.
Yes, good afternoon, Sri Pooja.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. I hope everything is good with you too, sir.
Yeah. So, congratulations for clearing the mains once again.
Thank you, sir.
So, how comfortable you are this time?
Regarding interview preparation or regarding the entire process, sir?
Both process and interview.
My mains actually went much better, like far better than what it happened last attempt. So I'm feeling it will be like I am expecting a huge margin of marks improvement. Interview, I haven't started preparation yet, sir, because my interview is scheduled on May 23rd. I really have to complete lot of prelims preparation. So I'm currently in the prelims preparation, but I thought I would take a mock right now to just have an idea of where I stand.
What is your optional?
Anthropology, sir.
Anthropology. Let's start with some lighter way.
Yes, sir.
You are you do cartooning.
Yes, sir.
What exactly are the themes you prefer to sketch?
They varied as my life changed in my childhood, and even before I started UPSC preparation. Those were usually the events which I used to find pleasant, or something happy events happened in my life. But once I started into UPSC preparation, I started seeing life in multiple aspects, and even the news articles and all. So something which moves me or something which I need to convey. These are the illustrations I make currently. For example, my recent illustration has been regarding on Women's Day. I wanted to make an illustration which shows how a woman should be accepted as a wholesome, not according to stereotypes. So now I am widening the themes of my illustrations.
Can you explain what was the illustration? Now in words, you sketched it in strokes. Now in words, what was the illustration about women's depiction of women in your this one?
A woman has always been actually I write also, so I have written about what I have sketched also. So I'm going to say that my sketch was like this: a woman with her face of multiple colors, so, and her hair with multiple colors and styles, and even her dressing wasn't, I just made a abstract picture painting over her dressing, and my message was: neither her color or her beauty or her dressing defines a woman. It is what she is, and it is what she pursues. The other element of my illustration was: she holds a hand and she holds a bag. So I wanted to say that a hand you hold, either father or a husband or a brother, should be someone who is accompanying your journey, not someone who holds you back. And the bag is something which all the tools you need to go ahead in your journey, something not a burden of stereotypes or society on you. So this was
My
my
hand. When you put hand, when you depict hand along with the woman's hand holding, who is not stopping. You said not stopping. It's okay. Not holding back. It's okay. But why you need a hand? If you paint a man, will you depict a hand?
I even have written in my writing, it may be an imaginary friend too. It may be so I wanted to say she may have support or she may not have support. I didn't even, it's like whatever she needs to go ahead, she may take the support or may not in her journey. And I also feel in this whole, any person's journey, in any human's journey, we have multiple people to go along with in our journey. We don't travel alone. So the hand should be, we should take all support we have, everyone, not only a woman, not only a man. We should take all the possible support and all the possible opportunities, but nothing that holds you back.
Okay, fine. So I call you as, if I call you as a feminist cartoonist, do you agree?
No, sir. I am more of a human. I have been a feminist, but I am observing that sticking my illustrations to feminism has been not reaching wider demographic because of an increase in the radical feminism. Feminist illustrations or feminist drawings are easily being subject to skepticism. So I wanted to keep it enough optimistic level so that it talks about women rights, and it also is on generalistic level such that it talks about humanistic rights also.
Is feminism not part of humanism?
Yes, sir, definitely. Feminism is definitely a part of humanism, and by accepting I'm a humanist, I'm accepting all the subparts of it. I'm accepting all the people who need support and all the people who have been downtrodden and needs to be uplifted.
Your feminism, as you see, is having some limitations. Do you think so?
uh, yes, sir, I agree it has limitations.
No, don't say that
One
I
thing.
agree. I'm not proposing. I'm saying it's your words. In your conception,
Okay.
it is feminism which has limitations and it is not complete humanism. So I'm asking you, do you think it has limitations?
Feminism as an ideology is, I feel it is absolute and it is as beautiful as it is, and it doesn't have limitations. And feminism as an approach, what we are currently seeing, has its limitations. And I also believe any movement, any human rights movement, or any movement as we have seen through our histories, even for a democracy, any movement has its own limitations, and it needs a certain transition phase to the level where it can reach to absolute glory, where it can serve its purpose. So in current approach, it does have limitations, sir.
What are the limitations you are viewing at present?
Current feminism, the limitations are based on the two perspectives. One is based on the vague ideology, like there is no clear ideology about of feminists. Few feminists want feminists want women to be on the same pedestal. Few feminists want women to be on the higher pedestal to make up for all the injustices done. Few feminists want a breakdown of the institution, uh, so that a woman can absolutely enjoy what her life and what her whole sum is worth. So I feel feminism, because of a vague ideology, is being perceived in different kinds to people. So it is being opposed, it is being restricted, and it is being seen in negative sense because of these uncertainties.
You are talking in, there are two parts in your answer. One is
Yes, sir.
people viewing it. Second
Ah,
is feminism as a theory and as a
yes, sir.
practice. And you are looking
Yes,
at
sir.
some vague references, those who are not, those who haven't understood feminism. And you say that there is no clear ideology. If I give a statement that you haven't read feminism, do you agree?
No, sir. I do not agree that I haven't read feminism, because I have read a lot about feminism. Even as a part of my anthropology, also I have read. But I would agree that I must not be catching up all the dimensions which may make you give that idea. And I would be glad to know which dimensions I must have left out. So I would really love to know more about them, sir.
Which Indian feminist writings? Can you name some of the feminist writers in India? Contemporary feminist writers.
Uh, No, sir, I cannot name a contemporary feminist writer. But recently, I have read a book of Arundhati Roy on the Ministry of Utmost Happiness, and I felt the book was upholding a lot of feminist rights, and it also is upholding a lot of LGBTQ rights. So I felt, so I'm assuming that she has upheld this kind of rights a lot in her time and in current time. And I'm sorry, I'm not aware of more writers, sir.
Do you know any classical writers on feminism?
Sarojini Naidu has been a ardent feminist, and she has fighted for women rights and women voting rights. Apart from these famous people, I am not aware of the others.
So activists who are fighting for the rights of women are different from the feminist in thinking and feminist practitioners. Do you agree with this? So there will be many people, those who are fighting for the women's rights, but that will not make them as the feminists as ideologically. Sarojini Naidu, do you think she is a feminist?
I believe she is a very good feminist, sir. And
What?
because she has been way ahead of her time, and she has been way vocal about women's rights. So I believe she is one of the true feminists we have seen in our history.
What are her contributions ideologically to feminist movement?
Yes, sir. She has I acknowledged the fact that women need to be educated and women need to be empowered to make them part of the mainstream society. Second thing is she made political rights are important. She made sure that political rights are important for the women, to make sure that decision making starts with the women and it will reach down so that women get true power on conducting her own life.
I am asking one thing, that is there any writing of Sarojini Naidu which speaks of women's rights? Article exclusively.
No, sir, I'm not aware of it. I will look into it, sir.
That's what my question was.
Okay,
There will be many feminist activists. There will be many activists, those who are fighting for the cause of women. That is one part of the story. They can be humanists, political activists, writers, those who are championing the cause of the women. At the same time, I'm talking about the feminism as a movement, those who have conceptualized feminism and has written something about feminism. For example, I'll give you some list like Kamla Bhasin. You just go through Indian feminist movement, you will know the names. Like any understanding or ideology, there are people who stick to that particular stream of the movement and give conceptual clarity on the issue. When you say women's rights, you will not have any problem. Once you say feminism, it is ism. Again, you should have the conceptual developments, conceptual understanding there. Where, for example, someone is talking about women, equality of women. Merely talking about equality of women will not make them as feminists or the champions of feminist movement.
Okay, sir.
Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
If I ask you, do you want to see poor and rich in the society, or you want some equal society, equitable society, or society where no discrepancies? You will say yes. You want to see all the people are equally good. Then if I call you Marxist, will you accept?
Oh, no, sir. I
That's
understand
what
the
the
difference
difference
right
is.
now.
That's what the difference is. Okay. You can talk about women's rights, no doubt about it. There are many people, even religious people, who are talking about women's rights. But they are not the feminists, because feminism is also a science or a stream which has a conceptual clarity. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
that is how we have to use the terms when we say feminists. That's why my first question was, do you think you are a feminist cartoonist?
Okay, sir. I understand.
Did you get my point?
Yes, sir. I understand.
So since anthropology is your optional, have you read Henry Louis Morgan?
L.H. Morgan. Yes, sir. I have read about him, sir.
Which one? What is the title of the book?
Oh, his books. I didn't read his books, sir. I have read about him in the anthropology. I didn't read any of his
Yeah.
books.
What is his contribution to
Uh,
anthropological studies?
he has done a huge contribution to the theory of evolutionism. Like uh, like he has evolutionary anthropology. He has proposed how the families are constructed on the line of how families are developed on the line of evolution. He has shown, and how society has developed on the lines of evolution. So I felt that he has understood to the basic. He has went down to the institutions of marriage, institutions of family, to understand how society must have grouped together, how society must have cooperated together. So this is what I understood about L.H. Morgan's contributions.
The title of his book is Ancient Societies.
Ancient, yes, sir. I couldn't recall. It's Ancient Society, 1877. He has written it.
Yeah, it is his 40 years of work among different tribes, different clans. That is really a pinnacle in the anthropological studies of evolutionary theories.
Yes, sir.
Based on this, there is another great work by another Marxist. Now I am talking very clearly Marxist, who has written about family. You talked about the family.
Yes, sir.
There is another work on family by one Marxist, famous Marxist. Can you name that? Shall I tell you the title?
Yes, sir.
Or I'll give you the author's name, Engels, Friedrich Engels.
Oh.
What is the title? What is the title?
No, sir, I don't know, sir. I have heard about Engels, but I haven't heard of any book written by Engels.
Family, state, and private property.
Can I hear the name again, sir?
Family, state, and private property.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, origin of family. The complete title is Origin of Family, State, and Private Property. This is based on Morgan's book. You talked about evolutionary anthropology,
yes,
and this is the work which is supplementing, which is coming as the sequel to Morgan's work.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So very, very interesting book and important book. Since you know a little bit about, you talked about how the family has originated from the groups, from the clans. Apart from that, he was talking about matriarchy, how the matriarchy is just withering away. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
I'll look into the summary of a book or something before I get question.
So again, I'm coming back to cartoon.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between the caricature and a cartoon?
Caricature has some exaggerated features, either of a human figuring or of any theme they are showing. They show exaggerated features to catch the attention. And cartoon is actually an umbrella term for caricatures, gigs, and so many things. So that is the main difference I see.
Who is your favorite cartoonist in present times or past? Can name some.
R.K. Lakshman, sir.
R.K. Lakshman.
And in Telugu, I like Bapu, sir.
Bapu.
Yes, sir.
R.K. Lakshman. What is the character of R.K. Lakshman? Which cartoon is represented? Which character is representing R.K. Lakshman's work?
The common man, sir.
Do you have a statue of common man anywhere in this country?
Yes, sir. It is on in a railway station somewhere, I guess. It is in a. Yes, sir. I have read about it a while ago. I don't remember currently. It is if human, like a full human figurine of common man, which was erected.
Symbiosis Institute, Pune.
Okay, sir. I'll look into it.
That is the way they have honored. There is a chair also in that institute named after R.K. Lakshman. Symbiosis Institute, Pune has a chair honoring R.K. Lakshman. R.K. Lakshman's brother was he was also a great author. His brother. Do you know his name?
Yes, sir. R.K. Narayan, sir.
His works, popular works?
Malgudi Days, sir. I know Malgudi Days. I haven't read Malgudi Days, but I have watched Malgudi Days on Prime.
Because of the TV serial, everyone know about Malgudi Days.
Yes, sir.
So, do you read newspapers regularly?
I read newspapers regularly. I used to read, sir. Now it depends based on convenience. I either go for compilations or I read a newspaper.
But newspaper reading is part of the day-to-day daily routine.
Yes, sir.
But if you didn't go for compilation,
yes, sir.
Once you go for compilation, you will be losing the currentness of the news.
Yes, sir. I understand the disadvantages of reading a compilation, but sometimes I procrastinate so that my schedules come close, like in between the prelims and mains period. There I really can't do newspaper, which takes up so much time. Then I read compilations, sir.
Do we eat every day?
Yes, sir. We do eat every day.
You should read newspaper every day. In the morning, the first work we have to do is go through the newspaper. You may not have the same time, 1 hour or 2 hours, but at least 10 minutes spending on newspaper is a very, very important thing, because no news is static. By the time you read the newspaper, that happening, yesterday night's happening, may become history. It is a developing story. So don't ever say that newspaper, you go for compilation.
I'll try to inculcate this habit as a regular habit.
You should. That is the right way, right approach for anything in your future too. Morning, as we brush up our teeth, as we have our tea, newspaper is part of it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, because that 5 minutes is important, because you'll be updating your existing that present knowledge. What happened yesterday till yesterday will be updated immediately. I asked you this question because if I say a statement that you read newspaper just to get into a job,
do you want me to argue with the statements? I think that, like,
yes,
are you going
yes,
to?
yes.
No, sir. I have been an ardent newspaper reader until my 10th standard. From where I feel I got my interest into the social affairs and everything. But then, as I told, as per convenience, I have left it for the left it into the part of my schedule. And again, it is again part of my interest. Whenever I pick it, I read it out of interest. So, newspaper has always been an interest, but I have to sacrifice it for some other things. So it is definitely not for a job, sir.
Here this answer is okay, but you have to rectify your answer regarding newspaper reading. Newspaper reading is essential as you breathe. Morning. Now I am asking you a question. Most of the women are in India, students also, aspirants, girls, they take newspaper reading as their academic work than as a daily exercise. They don't get a chance to read newspapers. Only men have the habit of reading newspapers in a routine way. Do you support this argument?
I do not support, sir.
No, I am asking you that this is the happening.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Happening or not?
Like, there will be a higher proportion of men who read newspaper than women, and there is a higher correlation between the women who read newspaper and who are doing for job. But I want to quote personal example from the circles I have been brought up in. My mother and my aunts, they have a good political understanding, and they read newspaper because they're extremely interested in talking about the issues, knowing about the issues, and they even have such a good understanding. I feel they can make a distinction between what is a populist policy and what is a really welfare scheme. So I feel women are getting there. Women are really taking it out of interest and want to be part of the affairs.
What percentage you are talking about?
I wouldn't be quoting a percentage because I don't have any backing, but I would be recalling a socio-economic background. It is usually where a husband is employed, a person who is educated, so that he helps and he supports his wife to study. And the second section of the population is where the women themselves are educated, and they really want to be the part of it. So education is necessary, at least partially, for women to be taking interest in part of the affairs.
You're a graduate in engineering.
Yes, sir.
How many of your classmates read newspapers? Male also, not just female. Leave civil services aspirants.
I would say I have met only 2 girls. I don't know how many guys read in their hostels, but I have met only 2 girls who read newspaper. But I have met many people who has an app called In Shorts, which delivers news in the shortest, crisp form. So I have met so many girls and equally lot many guys who are interested in having In Shorts.
Basic problem is they are not reading newspapers. It is because they are comfortable with the gadget.
Digital information.
And there too, they have their own choice. Films, cricket, sports. And housewives in India go through that 4th or 5th page where they get something about cooking or weaving or something.
Yes, sir. I would agree, sir. I would agree with this point, but I wouldn't say that that is also a bad thing. That is a very good thing that they are learning something they are interested in. I would feel any person, whatever job they're invested in, it is very. I feel it is very appreciative that they want to get better at it. They want to be invested in it. For example, as I have to quote my mom again, she reads parenting so many times, parenting tips, and I have myself observed that she has never subjected us to any comparison between other kids. And when I have posed her a question, I see this in regular homes, why didn't you ever compare us? She told she has learned it from a newspaper, and I felt that is a great work whatever newspaper has done her, taught her.
Don't you see the gender divide in this entire discussion?
Yes, sir, I do, sir. That is what I meant. I really would want my mom also to be, or any other moms also to be interested in political affairs and
Yeah,
economic affairs.
that point I was talking about.
I would want them to be interested in, and I also would want to be them to be able to understand what they are reading. So it is definitely a duty of all of us to make them more involved in this. But I don't criticize that they are going to the 4th or 5th page, because they are definitely learning something they know.
No, I don't have the complaints of going through 4th page, but I have the complaints of not going through the 1st page.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir. I understand, sir.
Even student community has lost its newspaper reading habit. Only those who want to get into civil services or some group examinations, they are trying to read. Otherwise, there is no place in their life for newspaper. Do you agree to this statement?
I would agree, sir. And I have I have made a particular observation regarding this. At least like a 20-30 years background, uh, a topic of discussion or references to be brought out are usually political or economical things, which are point of discussion. So if when a person is not up to date with these things, they feel left out. So they make efforts to read the newspaper and to be part of a peer group discussion. Now, to be on a group discussion, they have a lot more things like movies, web series, and there are so many diverse areas of discussion. So they really don't feel the need of peer pressure or social acceptability reasons to read a newspaper. So it has to come genuinely out of interest.
Is it damaging the development of the society?
Uh, Yes, sir. To an extent, yes. Politically and economically, they are not aware unless it comes right to them. For example, a person who is not reading a newspaper does and who is really not into these affairs doesn't know when an IPO comes, or doesn't know what is happening with the inflation, doesn't know what is happening with the economy, unless if they are investing in certain stocks or something. So I feel when they are taking decision when a country has been going through economic crisis. For example, I quote, a person has seen COVID crisis, and if a person wants to really go for a startup, I feel a newspaper would make him see so many opportunities even in the face of COVID. Government is providing for a startup. So such kind of background will help them to develop themselves, to develop as part of society. So I think newspaper is very essential for people to read.
What are the efforts of the government to address the problems created by pandemic times?
Uh,
In terms of economic or policy level, at the policy level I'm talking about.
Entire policy level.
Yeah.
Firstly, government wanted to control the wanted to reduce the burden of the COVID crisis. So they have tried to introduce, and we have been currently witnessing there is a little hike in there is a consistent hike in inflation and the prices. Second thing is they have constantly tried to be helping MSMEs through credit guarantee portals and new portals. Like a recent, there was a ramp portal, ramp scheme. So MSMEs, they have extremely focused on it. Third is migrants issue. which has uh, which has made a government see the huge problem of migrant crisis. So government has taken initiatives to register them, digitalize them, and a portal was opened, eSwas. I couldn't recall the correct name. I think it is eSwas, I guess. And for an on a larger scale, regarding the PDS and the food and LPG and all this distribution has helped people.
In India, the problem is we don't have big industries, or we don't have Japan-like countries. If I say their development or growth or their progress is attributed to high technology, not MSMEs. Do you agree?
Japan has Japan has actually owes its most of the development to high technology and high industries, and I feel Japan is it suits Japan kind of demography and Japan kind of economy, where it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be making it a highly inclusive kind of sector. But for India, which is the second highest populous country, and it is very soon to be highest populous country, we need MSMEs. We need the sector which can involve as many people as it can, and it has to be providing for employment. So I feel India cannot take the same strategy as Japan did.
Do you know what I did? I did a mischief in the question itself.
Okay, sir.
What is the mischief? Do you know? Japan is having 95% development or dependent on MSMEs. Do you know that?
No, sir. I just know the fact that Japan is
You
highly
just,
technologically developed.
yeah,
So
you just dependent on my question.
I took the bait.
Yeah, right. Did you get my point exactly? I formulated the question as if there is no MSME sector in Japan, and you just used your common sense and said that we should have a different one. Japan has 95% MSME based industry.
Okay, sir. I apologize for that, sir.
Did you get that? Actually, this
Yes,
is
I
one
understood.
because since you don't know exactly what's the share of MSMEs in Japan,
Yes, sir.
you believed that what I said is right.
Yes, sir.
You did not contradict. Then you just broadly understood about the demography and population and everything, and you took the bait as you said.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. I would try to not do it in my upcoming interviews.
If you don't know exact ratio, then your answer could have been, sir, I don't know exactly how much percentage the MSME sector contributes to the industry in Japan, but high technology or highest level of technological researchers or high skilled persons in Japan helped with the industry's growth there. And in India, we have to develop upon it. Then you are not doing some wrong things.
That
Okay,
could be a safe answer.
safe, because you don't know exactly what is the percentage of MSMEs in Japan.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
right. Coming back to your preferences, order of preferences, as everyone does, the first priority is IAS, then IPS, then third one is foreign service.
Yes, sir.
Why IFS is third one always behind police? IFS is also very lucrative. It's also a very charming job where you can see lots of things around the world and you can be part of the foreign policy. But why it is third? Why not second?
Uh, IFS definitely excites me, sir. It shows me the lucrativeness of traveling around, which I definitely love, and having a different kind of lifestyle. But the basic fact I came into administrative service, I came to civil services was I wanted to stay close to the field. And it has a huge fact with the reason that my father has been village development officer, and I really didn't know what I wanted, but I wanted to be like my father, where I work closely with people. So IAS and IPS has been my preference, and I really wanted, like, it had been a hard decision. I wanted IFS somewhere up, because it really excited me, but I thought it wouldn't excite me in the long run.
Then you are services than IRS. IRS is not close to people, it is very close to files.
Yes, sir. Again, multiple factors have been playing. That has been the factor. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Continue. Please continue.
Yes, sir. So, and other reasons that because of my mentors and whatever people have been guided me, IRS has been a very nice service, and IRS have been a service which I would has played a factor in putting IRS there, sir.
Do you travel?
I do travel. I like traveling, sir, but there has been circumstances which constrained my extent of traveling.
You studied in Suratkal.
Yes, sir.
Suratkal is in Karnataka.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me something about Suratkal?
Yes, sir. Suratkal is a very mediocre town, lies close to the Mangalore, which is a port city, and Suratkal has beautiful beaches, and it has a very diverse population. I love that fact about Suratkal because it has a multi-religious population, and it is also a place from which there is lot of migrants, like migrants to Gulf. And somehow I feel the place is highly educated because of, I think, high income because of the Gulf migration. Yes, so these have been my observations about Suratkal.
You used the word mediocre.
For the town, yes, sir, I'd used, yes, sir.
Do you think that word is apt?
Uh, what I intended was it in the lines of development, in the lines of the communication and transport facilities. I again doubt the legitness of the words.
Yeah, please. Such words are used in a negative connotation.
Okay.
We can't use such words, what I believe. Okay.
Okay.
When you say a town as mediocre town, underdeveloped, developing, or rural, those words are better, not a mediocre. Mediocre is a very, it's a negative word in that.
I'll try to avoid such.
You have beautiful beaches and everything.
Yes, sir, we have very beautiful beaches.
You said about the compositeness, religious. Which religion is dominant there? More number of people, Hindu?
Definitely Hindus, sir, but there is a higher proportion of Muslims and Christians too. Very higher proportion of Muslims.
Now coming back to the law and order problem in Karnataka, we have seen lot of issues in the communal. Yeah. Just tell me something about it. Why it is happening in India? And some pockets like Karnataka, you have this issue. Even that hijab issue is coming in the nearby places only. Why so?
I feel the reason for any communal issue is when there is a overlap in the, like when there is a higher proportion of the people who are of same religion, who are of undereducated, who are underemployed. So when there is a higher proportion of income backwardness, educational backgroundness, social backgroundness in a same religion or in a same sect of the people, it makes them believe that the religious oppression or is the cause, while the other conflicting religion believes them they are socially isolated and make them themselves isolate them socially. So I feel unless there is a unless there is a harmonious development between them, psychologically and socially and educationally, there wouldn't be a clear solution for this communal issue.
Your answer is related to socially, communally, socially, economically, and all those things.
Yes,
but it is not the social reasons or economic reasons which are creating or which are what you call bursting the bubble or instigating. What are the reasons for communalism in India? Is it economic? They are underlying, no doubt about it. But really, what we call detonating factors of communalism.
Religious and ideological intolerance.
Religious and ideological. Do you see political intervention or political game plan in this entire issue?
Political intervention can't be excluded out of any major things which happen at the ground level. So I do see political intervention because of course political representatives are the people who represent their own people. So there is definitely there is a group mentality. There is definitely a person who wants to support a kind of ideology. So political intervention is inevitable, but it is also responsible for the political representatives to be taking an intervention which is a solving rather than creating problem. But what we unfortunately see is it is creating further divides where people pick the sides and where people make one go against the other.
What is the solution for communalism in India?
My ideology is education can be a very beautiful solution for communalism, because it lies with it interlinks with multiple facts. One is ideology. Education teaches any person to be tolerant, to be able to understand what other religion teaches, and it is okay to accept the broad mentality. Second thing is education also helps them not widen their horizons. Like religion is not the center part of the life. Widen the horizons about what are important, like what to be fought about, like what are the major issues in the society. So, and economically, almost a panacea for communal problems.
You're talking about education, but I am talking about constitution. There is a big chunk of illiterate world, but still there should be no communal strife in that particular society. And how you take the help of constitution?
May I take 15 or 20 seconds? I see uniform civil code can be a solution in long term, for reducing communal conflicts. Like uniform civil code can make people feel relatable on similar grounds. Like uh, the people will be subjected to same rules. People will be subjected to similar kind of practices. So it can at least make them feel relatable and on common grounds on one extent. And second thing is uniform civil code can't be done right now as per constitution. Like we can't change anything of uniform civil code because it will be very disrupting the current dynamic of the religion. Apart from this aspect, I cannot think of any changes in constitution which will be helpful a lot for dealing with communalism.
You ventured into a slippery ground. Uniform civil code is again a big debate. Uniform civil code means inequality. Again, there are debates on it. Do you think hijab, what is your take on hijab controversy?
My take on hijab controversy is a woman has to choose what she wants to do. Like a right woman empowerment lies with the fact that she has the right to choose. So I would feel that a woman shouldn't be forced even by the religion or even by the institution to dress up what the way she wants. So in on the lines of recent developments, I see hijab ban was necessary to reduce the religious impositions on her. But I also feel it is also important for the institutions or academic institutions to provide women a safe space to explore her expression in her own unique way. So I cannot I'm completely, like I couldn't pick a single side for the hijab controversy, sir. So I see both the positive and negative in it.
Imagine that you are a Muslim woman.
Yes, sir.
Then what could have been your answer?
Considering
Muslim
my
woman, not just a woman, you are a Muslim woman. Yes. Then you answer it.
Considering my personality, I would be thinking like if my personality development has been same if I were a Muslim woman, I would be willing to not be abided by the religious instructions, but I would also be having a conscious self-consciousness and fears of my religion, which may make me feel insecure. What if I let go of hijab? So I would take a period of time to understand myself what I want, and I would definitely do what I feel, and I think it will be I think maybe I cannot stand in the rope.
Actually,
I think I let go of hijab.
In this entire controversy, there are women, Muslim women, they are coming without hijab also. No one is talking about imposing hijab on them. Here we are talking about the people who wants to wear hijab and come to college.
Yes, sir.
Then don't you see a difference between the imposing hijab on some people who are not wearing and giving a right to wear whatever they want till they want to be in that culture? Is there a difference between these? See, there is a group of people, many Muslim women, they are not wearing hijab and they are coming to workplaces.
Yes, sir. They are.
There is no question of imposing hijab on them. Here,
Yes, sir.
some people
Sure.
are trying to wear hijab and come, and they want that it is my right and my choice. Then imposing them or asking them not to wear hijab, is it not imposing on their rights?
There is a conflict of imposition, sir. The woman, we never know if how much of religious imposition is acting on her. It is entirely a personal choice. Like a woman must be entirely comfortable in the attire she wants, or if it is entirely a religious imposition. So to letting her come without hijab might be a move which is empowering her to take her own decision, or it must be very against her own consciousness, conscience.
Did you see this entire process happening from the reformist angle of Muslim women, or happening from the other religious aspect imposing on them? If the reform is coming from inside, Muslim women, they are opposing hijab and coming out without hijab. This is one scenario. And some other religion asking them not to hijab is another thing.
Yes, sir.
Do you see the difference?
I see the dimension where other religions do want a religious do want to obstruct them from following a religious practice. Or I also see the dimension they need to be, like we have spoken about women who could let go of hijab, like who could have that level of freedom where she could leave with hijab. But there are women who couldn't, even if they want, they couldn't. So this may be a avenue for her.
Who has to do it? Who has to rectify it? Is it the other religion which has to rectify it, or the same religious reforms and the people in that religion will do it?
It should be very ideal if it comes from within the religion.
Same thing if we apply it to Sikhs wearing turban in the Royal Imperial Service. We support Sikh wearing the Royal Imperial, wearing the turban as it is religion.
Yes, sir.
In France or somewhere where we had the debates about the same aspect, we were supporting the minorities.
Yes,
and here comes a different dimension, talking about freedom for women.
Yes, sir.
It has conflict of interest from the people who are on the other side of the Muslims, but still trying to impose theirs.
I definitely see the imposition factor here, sir. There is a religion imposing on them. There is, even if it is not a religion, many of the times we see this where a helping hand may feel, where a helping hand would be feeling like snatching the choice. For example, in the tribal practices like human sacrifice, which I wouldn't be comparing here, but I am saying in that kind of thing, when a practice is banned, when a practice is prohibited, it of course violates many religious rights. Same thing applies here; it violates religious rights. But how much a person needs it, how much a person is attached to it, it is again a decision of herself. And I feel this should be the decision of a woman and decision of the religion itself.
Did you get to this point now? This is what the essence of the debate is. See, religious practices which are very, very detrimental to the individual's progress also we can fight. You can be from opposite side or the outside of the whole institution, but still you can raise voice. But trying to impose for your political ends is the major issue today what we are facing in India today.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can be supportive of Salman Rushdie or the author of Lajja, Taslima Nasreen. But at the same time, Taslima Nasreen cannot make some comments which are not really of her choice. Okay. Support Tasliman Nasreen, no doubt about it. Salman Rushdie, opposing Salman Rushdie. In India, they have banned Salman Rushdie's book.
Okay, sir.
Okay, like that. Actually, why I asked you, this is the most controversial issue today.
Yes, sir. I couldn't pick myself aside.
You started with common civil code. Common civil code is the most debated aspect.
Yes, sir.
Except one religious group, except those who are tying to one particular section or understanding or ideology, all other sections, including minorities and progressive sections, are not for common civil code.
Yes, sir.
And if you see your choice of secularism, your choice of religious development, or your choice of development in common civil code, again, it will be a controversial aspect. So don't enter into such things. Okay. I prolonged this debate because you should be comfortable with your argument till the end.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah. Even hijab controversy also. A common civil code to hijab, because you studied in Suratkal, I talked about.
Yes, sir. It is a very much issue there.
Yes, sir. Communal strike. Baba Budangir.
Yes, sir.
Baba Budangir.
Yes, sir.
What is Baba Budangir issue actually?
The school has Baba Budangir is the place where the school didn't let the kids come in for the.
No.
Isn't it? No.
No. Baba Budangir is a Sufi dargah originally. And there is a controversy, and people started.
I'm not aware of it.
Dattatreya Peetham.
I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, Baba Budangir is again in the same region in Karnataka, where they want to change this Baba Budangir Dargah as Dattatreya Peetham. Again, a controversy, like Ayodhya. So, yeah. So, Sufi versus Dargah versus a temple, that conflict. So, religion, see, if you talk about women's issues, that may not touch the card of the interviewers. But at times, when you enter into the secularism aspect or religion aspect, again, you will be in soup if you are not strongly supporting your argument, and your criteria should be the constitution, nothing else. Okay.
I should be sticking to the constitutional.
Constitution. Many of your answers are on individual level. Education is the solution. Even education is not an individual choice. Here we have the constitution as the parameter which provides education, which makes education a right, and that makes the entire society into this. That is why wherever you find slippery, wherever you find discomfort, take constitution into your hands. Okay? That is the technique you have to use. Otherwise, wherever controversy is there, because you are going to be a civil servant, and constitution is the ultimate authority for you. Okay. Individual things may not help you. Individual opinions may not help you. In terms of feminism, it may help, but it is not going to touch the raw nerve of the interviewers or the board. But when it comes to communalism, again, your ideologies will work. Okay. Then, what exactly, which subject of your anthropology is interesting for you? In anthropology, you have different disciplines. Which part of anthropology?
Which interested me. One was actual genuine where I started with anthropology is why the tribals are subject to different policies, like why there are isolated islands in Andaman. When I was started to reading about it, I understood the dimensions regarding why few are isolated, why few are made to develop, and all. So that is the one thing which I found very extremely interesting before I start anthropology. Second thing is the genetical part, which is owing to my interest in biology.
Do you think there is biological factor designating or what you call detrimental to the development of tribes? Biological factors, genetical factors.
Yes, sir, there are genetical factors like inbreeding. There are genetical factors like sickle cell anemia, which is very highly predominant in them. And yes, sir, these two I can think of right now, which are detrimental to the health and which are detrimental to the like effective population.
Don't you think there is a conflict between this inbreeding versus preservation of the cultures and the identity of the tribe? If you want to come out of that inbreeding concept, you will lose your identity.
Yes, sir.
Then how to address this issue?
That is an issue which is not an external issue, which just for example, if we take Andaman Islands, those people have been isolated for a while, and we have seen huge dwindling of population within 50 years because of excessive inbreeding. And we cannot, or we should not force them to be part of the culture, because that is against their right, and that is against their choice completely. So what we can do is maybe genetic screening, maybe genetic solutions, try more research on providing easy diagnosis and easy cure. That is the as far as support we can give, which is acceptable and which is humanly. Second thing is, for the population like sickle cell anemia and all, we have to be trying to find out better drugs and better medicine for them to cope up with the life. So and the other parts of the culture who are already in mingling with the who are mingling with the mainstream population, coming out of their own
Other
habitat.
population.
Yes, sir. Who are mingling with the other populations, we should be make sure that cultural dilution is not happening. We should further, the importance is we should glorify, like we shouldn't be down looking on unique cultures of tribals, unique arts of tribals. By glorifying them, I don't think I think cultural dilution can be stopped to an extent.
Good. Your answer is good regarding this. Because inbreeding, you have to address through your researches only. We do it for ourselves. But when you talk about the preservation or conservation of the tribes, we should do more research and help them. And don't impose our things into them.
Yes, sir.
What are the tribes in your home state?
There are tribe, very popular tribe in our state is Chenchu, Yanadi, Erukula, and if you go to the northern Andhra, which is a hotspot for many, there are Proja. I can't remember more. There's a lot of subsets of Proja tribes.
Which tribe?
Proja, PROJ, Proja.
PRO?
PROJ, Proja.
Proja.
In the Araku Valley.
Paraja.
Paraja.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. I must have been mistaken. Sorry. Yeah, these are the types I can recall currently.
You took the names of different tribes. One is Chinchu.
Chinchu.
They are very primitive tribe.
They are very primitive. They are even classified as PBTGs.
Yes, I was just looking for that word from you. Then Yanadi and Yerukala, do you think they are similar to Chinchus? Are they forest dwelling people?
There has been an attempt to give rehabilitation to Yanadis, and which has actually failed because of their complete cultural differences. But I cannot remember the specific area, but where there was a good rapport with the administration, and they could actually help.
My question is different. My question is, Chenchus are forest dwelling people. Do you think Yanadis and the other one?
Yarukula. They are, I think both of these
are
are
forest dwelling. Are they forest dwelling or semi-nomadic?
I remember both Yanadis and Yarukulas are semi-nomadic. They usually involve in forest trading. They bring forest items. They exchange the items. They are involved with trading a little.
Yeah, that is the difference between Chenchus and these people. These people are not similar to Chenchus. You have Yanadi hamlets around the town, smaller villages too. But Chenchus are forest dwelling completely.
Okay.
That difference is there. In North Coastal Andhra Pradesh, you have Kond, Savara.
Gond Savara, yes, sir.
Kond, not Gond. Gond is Andhra.
Yes, sir. Kond, yes, sir.
Kond, KHOND, Kond. Kondo, they call it as. And what are the districts in North Coastal Andhra Pradesh which has the tribal population?
Vishakhapatnam, Vijayanagaram, Srikakulam, and to an extent they are in the north and west Godavari.
Even East Godavari.
Okay, so even East Godavari. Okay.
West Godavari is also part of tribal population, which is your native place.
Yes, sir. It is.
You hail from West Godavari.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I was born and brought up in Kadapa district, but I'm actually from West Godavari.
In West Godavari, there's a huge project going on, being constructed. What is the project?
Polavaram project, sir.
What is the controversy basically surrounded this Polavaram project since ages?
The Polavaram project has been a multi-purpose project regarding irrigation, regarding drinking water, regarding electricity. But the problem is it has to be huge. There is a problem of huge failed. For example, there is a dance form called Kommu dance. Among the groups of the population which were displaced, they couldn't be organized into their groups, and Kommu dance started disappearing in those few hamlets. And the similar thing, it will be much more escalated once the rehabilitation completes. So yes, sir, there is a problem of rehabilitation of the sensitive tribal area.
What is the contradiction surrounding the states' rights, like Telangana, Andhra, and other states? What are the states interested in this debate?
I have to brush up my knowledge about this, sir. I guess it is Andhra, Telangana, and Orissa, but I'm not very sure, sir.
Even Chhattisgarh.
Okay, sir.
Because you just imagine the Godavari region.
Yes, sir.
So Chhattisgarh also has some interest in this area. Okay.
Okay.
So
I'll read more into it, sir.
yeah. So coming back to your basic, you did electronics and communication engineering from NIT.
Surat, Karnataka.
Surat, Karnataka, NIT. How many NITs are there?
I haven't got the recent numbers, sir. Sorry, I know when it was 33, but there are many new NITs came. I didn't.
What was the old name for NITs? NITs previously they used to be called as
Regional engineering colleges.
Regional engineering colleges.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What exactly is the difference between an IIT and NIT and any engineering college? Why these engineering campuses?
There are differences on various levels, sir. First thing, on a superficial level, the entrances and the exits, like the placements, vary. IITs, because of their prestigious nature, they have a complicated mode of entrances, and even the companies visiting them offer higher package for a similar job role. And it goes in the hierarchical level to NITs and different colleges. And in the internal level, there is a difference between the faculty, there is difference between the laboratories, the scientific equipment available. For example, in IITs there is advanced very advanced centers. For example, I think there is a supercomputer in IIT Bombay, and many more researchers, like wide researchers, archaeological researchers, geological researchers, wide kind of researchers keep happening as part of IITs in collaboration with IITs. And it happens on the next level, on a little lower level in NITs, and further lower level in regional local colleges.
You
And the
talked
same.
about, sorry, continue,
And
please.
I just wanted to see the faculty and the infrastructure and the allocations of finances also vary similarly.
You talked about some archaeological researchers in IITs.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea about them?
I have particularly brought it up because when I was reading anthropology, I have read that IIT Kanpur was doing some genetic research based on recent archaeological evidences. So I was that was first time I knew that such a level of researchers go in IIT, and I have never seen similar levels happening in our college. So it became memorable in my head, sir.
How do you link up archaeology with other sciences, pure sciences? What is the relation between archaeology and these sciences, as you talked about researchers happening in your IITs? Yes, what fields can be what you call helping archaeology?
One thing, there are multiple things which can be helpful. Firstly, chemical engineering will be very helpful regarding the radiation, regarding the isotopes, and regarding carbon dating. So I feel chemical engineering will be very much involved. Second thing is, second thing is both the computer science and IT for mathematical models, 3D for the estimations, statistical analysis of the periodical things, and geology, civil. I don't. In even in our college there is a geology department in civil engineering, so I guess there will be in other IITs better geology departments. So I feel they will be used for rock stratification and other similar things.
You are settled in Rayalaseema.
Yes, sir.
Are there any archaeological sites in Kadapa district?
Archaeological site. There are many in Kadapa district. I cannot recall currently, but there are many, sir. I'm sorry, I cannot recall currently.
Is there any big fort?
Yes, sir. There is a Gandhi fort, and there is a Siddhavatam fort.
This
Gandikota is a famous fort.
Gandikota has a great geological feature to talk about. What exactly is the geological feature? Is there any river in that area, nearby area?
Penneru, Cheyyar. I don't know. There is a river and it forms a canyon in near Gandikota, sir.
Yeah, that is Penneru.
Penneru.
And it's the Grand Canyon of India.
Yes, sir. It is called Grand Canyon of India.
Yeah. So that is Gandikota, Siddhavatam. Any Buddhist sites nearby?
I think Siddhavatam is a Buddhist site, sir.
Originally, but converted later. And there is one pure Buddhist site archaeologically found that is known as Nandaluru.
Nandaluru.
Have you heard about Nandaluru?
Yes, sir. It is very close to where I live, and I didn't know Nandaluru is a Buddhist site.
Have you visited?
Yes, sir. I have visited Nandaluru.
Have you seen the stupas there?
No, sir. I have visited temples, Hindu temples actually. I don't know. Maybe stupas haven't been famous. There is a very famous Lord Venkateshwara's temple.
Yeah.
So I have visited there. I couldn't see the stupa. Next time I'm there, I'll go, sir.
Yeah. Such things are important because most of the people, the top officials, they will be visiting many places in this country and randomly they can ask you, supposing they have visited Nandaluru, you may get a question related to your native place.
Yes, sir.
Matter of chance. I am not saying that they'll be asking.
There is a matter
of chance, always.
And I should be prepared.
Because you know lots of things about Andamans and you don't know about Nandaluru.
Yes, sir.
Did you get my point?
Yes,
here, from the basic information about our surroundings and our things, and the broad universal level or anywhere you can talk about. Grand Canyon, you know, Grand Canyon is a word which is used for US.
Colorado, yes.
Yeah. Now we talk about Grand Canyon of India in Kadapa.
Yes.
And since you know Colorado as a Grand Canyon, you should be knowing Grand Canyon of your native place, which is in India. You have that Grand Canyon. Okay. Like that. This is the way we have to approach to things. Okay. Our surroundings are very important. Unless and until we know ourselves, we can't discuss about the others also very easily. Okay. This is one principle. Last question, coming to your father's profession.
Yes, sir.
Villages are the focal points for the real development. Just give me a model as a policy maker. What should be done in the present context to empower the villages as the agents of change in this society?
May I take 30 seconds time, sir?
Yeah. Formulate your answer and tell me.
Yes, sir. Firstly, villages, as personally coming to Andhra Pradesh, we are seeing an extreme low literacy rate of lowest literacy rate. So villages are the places where there is a huge number of dropouts. So village education system need to be developed. And for villages to be the pioneers of development, entrepreneurship should be brought down to village level. With Startup India, we have got to tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and it needs to be more. It needs to be generated even in the village level, because there can be a huge scope in the agricultural startups and even horticultural area where startups can be finding huge potential. And third thing is, our villages have a huge cultural elements and very regional elements which will be adored and international markets. Recently, in Prime Minister's Independence Day speech, we have spoken about one district, one product. Similarly, we can endorse few villages which produce unique products, which can be a huge economic flip to the villages.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I was talking about the first sentence of your answer should be define the village in the answer. How you see a village as the basic unit of change. Okay.
Yes.
Then you can talk about the models and other aspects as you devise. You can't have, I need not say that you should talk about education first or Panchayat Raj or development, entrepreneurship, all those things you can talk as you like. But first you answer about the village as the basic unit, as the agent of change. Okay. Now let's conclude.
Yes, sir.
So your answer was, you mentioned some of the measures like education and all those things, empowerment through developing the entrepreneurship and all those things. Okay. So it's fine. But first you define what exactly constitutes the change at the village level. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How a village is the basic unit for the change. Then you can answer these things. Then what happens? You will have a structured answer where you are putting forth the proposal, which is well structured. And village, why I talked about villages? Because it is a basic unit.
Yes, sir.
Where this country resides, most of the population, of course, because of the more urbanization, you have more population coming to, but this decongestion or de-urbanization should happen if villages are strong. You have many solutions in that. So like that, you formulate in a structured manner. I have ventured into many aspects throughout this interview.
Yes, sir.
Just to make you comfortable and more talking. In that process, you'll be knowing where you have to talk, how to talk. Okay.
Okay.
So even when I discussed about feminism, when I discussed about communalism, or many other aspects. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Even in that question, that is when you talked about the differences between IITs, NITs, and the local engineering colleges. First, you give one or two statements, basically what you are thinking, like the infrastructure, the facilities, the levels of research. All are at different levels in all these universities. Then you go for explanation. Then the panel need not wait for understanding of your concept till your explanation is over. Now, what we will be seeing is your conceptual understanding and its explanation. First part is your conceptual understanding. Second part is your explanation and understanding the issue itself. So sometimes you have a conceptual understanding, but you may not explain.
Okay.
Sometimes you have the conceptual and explanation too. Then that will fetch more marks. Did you get my point?
Yes,
so
sir.
conceptual understanding is the key issue for presenting yourself, presenting your views in any question.
Okay.
So I need not explain each and every question. Actually, I explained then and there itself, so that you can have the churning inside when I talked about one particular question. So that's why in the end, I'm not able to talk again the generalizations, but the generalization is concept and explanation. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
And local understanding is important.
Yes, sir.
Local understanding means when you talked about tribes are very, very of much concern for you. Then you should be knowing the tribes in your native state more than Andamans.
Yes, sir.
For Andamans, I give you 2 marks. But if you don't talk about your tribes in the native place, I just take away 1 point from Andaman.
Okay, sir.
Did you get my point? Right?
Yes,
yeah, that is very much, very, very important.
okay.
So you can ask questions. You can talk to me. You can tell your opinion about this interaction.
the, the interaction actually gave me new dimensions, even the ones I didn't prepare in my last attempt, like last interview. And one more thing I observed is you have a very good strong holding of literature, and I would be liking to get some suggestions, like should I be reading any new books, or should I be reading knowing new books? So I may ask the person to get a source from you. And third thing is, have a doubt, sir. For example, this interview has gone like it has provided me a scope for discussion. Like you provided me a space for expressing my views. But what if the interview is going like a question and answer, like rapid fire question type? Like how can I make it stop and set a theme? Like for example, in my last mock interview, I felt I answered most of the questions like good, but the questions were not of any opinion based. They were like, where are Havelock Island situated? What is BRI? Like they were like a prelims question or something which I just need to give an answer, and they are shifting to the next question. So I really want to know how can I turn such an interview to where I can have a discussion about.
See, this mock interviews are different here, and every interviewer will have their own perception about questioning. My understanding is not just information from you. My understanding about the interview is understanding your to know your understanding and your personality, your aptitude, and your attitude towards that particular aspect. That is interview. That is the personality test. This is not another prelims. I did not ask you about anthropology topics. I tried to understand your holistic approach to your subject, your approach to your life, approach towards. You just talked about archaeological interventions or archaeological experiments in IITs. Then you slipped into my question, and I brought you to Nandalur.
Yes, sir.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
This is the level of questioning. It is not that I'll be having a set of questions and I'll ask, and by choice, if you know that, chance you know that, you will be answering. That is not that. There will be no set of questions prepared by the interview board there, sitting there. Oh, now Pooja will come. I have to ask these questions.
Yes,
it is the interaction between the board and yourself as you are expressing your personality, your attitude towards the things around you, your attitude in understanding. I see a positive attitude in you in understanding things.
Okay, sir.
Very good. That has to be expressed. You might have it inside. What will happen? You can't exhibit those those traits.
Yes, sir.
Exhibiting your traits are also important. Exhibiting means not overtly. Your answer will express who are you actually. This is a personality test. That word interview is very bad, and personality test or personality is the correct answer. Correct. That is why they call it as personality test, not interview.
Yes,
basically, it's a personality test. Yeah, your personality need not be. They are not testing that how much you know, how many pages you have finished, but it is what you are.
Yes, sir.
How strong you are in the society. That is the essential aspect of the personality test. Many of the interview board members might not be going into the philosophical aspect of personality test, but you should know the aspect. This is the philosophy of personality test.
Yes.
You might not answer two questions. Factual answers might be missing, but it will not affect your performance. Personality is the one you should have the conceptual clarity on these things. That is why the first question on feminism itself, I was stressing upon, is an activist, is a feminist. Many people will be supporting one particular aspect of the life. But it does not mean that that is a holistic. They can't be called as feminists as per se.
Yes, sir.
When you said I studied feminism, I asked about the contemporary writings.
Yes, sir.
Then what is the thing? You have very less time. You cannot just go through all these things. Just go to Google and search Indian feminism. Then you will have the people who worked on Indian feminism. Who are the feminist writers? You took the name of Arundhati Roy. Arundhati Roy is not just a feminist, he is a political writer, basically.
Yes, she is a political writer.
Yeah. Then I did not ask you many questions. Like I'll ask, what is her? Have you read Arundhati Roy's other works?
I haven't read, sir.
Then what happens? You're supplementing your name to me to ask a question.
I'm leaving the loose ends.
I understood that you have read only one book.
Yes, sir. Recently, I have read a book and I found it has very interesting insights.
Have you gone through her Booker Prize winning novel?
No, sir.
What is the title?
No, sir, I don't.
This is a factual question. Many of the interviews, as you said, might be asking this question. What is the title of the book Arundhati Roy has written? God of Small Things. God of Small Things.
Okay, sir.
Then between God of Small Things and her next novels, fiction works, there are a lot of political writings of Arundhati Roy lined up, very popular. She is one of the famous thinkers of this country, representing globally also. So again, when you venture into some things, at least you should be knowing some of the aspects, because you'll be giving the cue to the panel to ask such questions in the next turn. Okay?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Okay, sir.
Right? Shall we? Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
All the best. All the best.
Thank
You have a lot of time. And don't worry about the books you read now.
Okay, sir.
You have to brush up your conceptual aspects now. You don't have much time to read every topic again and again. At least one round of understanding you should get about the things which you are dealing with. Okay?
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you so much, sir.
Right. All the best.
Okay.
This video is brought to you by AKS IAS.